Welcome back to another episode of Life's a Garden. We are rapidly approaching Friday the 13th. And not just any Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th in October. Notoriously a day where anything can and possibly will happen. Which leads us to today's positive, motivational, insightful message. And that is to be mindful. Not only of your physical surroundings, but of your mental surroundings. Obviously, on a day where anything can happen, we want to be mindful of our surroundings, things that may be going on around us, and not just on Friday the 13th, but every day. Be aware of what's going on around you. Be aware of just your surroundings in general, no matter what. Wherever you are, if you're out in public, late at night, or just at home. You want to be aware of the things going on around you. Likewise, you want to be aware of the things going on in your head. Nip things in the bud early. If you can catch signs of depression or signs of abnormal thoughts, abnormal feelings, if you can react to those, if you can catch those, figure out why you're feeling those ways, and alter the direction that they are headed in, you will avoid certain destructive happenings, whether that's falling down a pit of depression or leading yourself down a darker road, or just anything negative that could potentially come from that. You will steer that into a more positive direction if you can recognize those signs early. Likewise, physical and mental, emotional feelings. Be mindful of those. If you can catch them early, you can steer them in a direction of positivity. And that is today's positive motivational message. So, with that, let's get into today's episode. It's episode 171 of Life's a Garden. And we are back in our normal attire. I have ditched the white girl clothes. I am back in my typical black, neutral colored self. And to prove it, we ditched the pumpkin spice and we're back at the typical Coors Light. So, fret no more. Your boy is back to his natural self. Now, as I mentioned, we are approaching Friday the 13th, and in addition to it being Friday the 13th, I also want to mention that is the night my band Cutthroat will be playing alongside our friends Mobsquito down at Thirsty Street. Show starts at 7 o'clock, $5 cover charge. Come on down, have a spooky good time. Costumes are welcome, of course, and we're planning on it being a pretty awesome show. We're planning on a few theatrics. It'll be a little bit different than our normal setup because it is, of course, Friday the 13th. We're excited. It's going to be a good time. Also, might be our last show for the year. So if you want to catch us last time this year, this has been a great year for us. We're capping it off in a special way. Now, if something big comes up, if we get a good opportunity in the month of November and December, sure, we're going to jump on that. But as of right now, we are not planning on anything else. So this might be your last opportunity to come check us out. Friday the 13th, Thirsty Street Brewing, 7 o'clock. Come on, check us out. It'll be a good time. Let's see. What do we get into today? It is, it's been an interesting week. It's not a lot's been going on, you know? I was actually planning on having a guest on this week. Didn't quite go through, so we're here doing another solo episode, which I am A-okay with. I love doing solo episodes, to be honest. Everything's a little easier. I kind of get to go at my own pace, so I'm never afraid to do these. It just matters whether or not I have anything to talk about. And sure enough, there is obviously things to talk about. Oh, you know what? I actually did want to mention this. So has anybody out there seen the Vegas Sphere? Speaking of shows, this is something we've seen. Like, I've seen video clips of the outside of the Vegas Sphere, where it's basically just a giant dome covered in LED lights, and they can project different images on this sphere, and it's like in a high def LED picture. There was one where it was just like an eyeball, because it's as the name would suggest, a dome, a sphere. They did an eyeball. Recently, they did a jack-o'-lantern on the outside. It's really, really cool. Now, I don't know what I thought this building was. I didn't know if it was just an art display. I wasn't quite sure what the purpose of this structure was. I thought it was just as a visual outside thing. Oh, no. It goes beyond that. And I can't believe it didn't dawn on me that this is what it would be used for in the first place. It's a concert venue. And not only is there LED lights on the outside, they're on the inside as well. So the way it's structured, it's like, I guess you would say like amphitheater-like seating, where it's all like theater seating, I suppose. Just on the one side. It looks huge, to be honest. It's way bigger than I thought. And they can project whatever they want on this screen. So you're sitting there, and it's like a vast canyon with just like, they can make it look like you're standing on the top of a mountain, and it's just like clouds. I seen one where it's just like, streaming numbers and letters and stuff like that, and they're all different colors. Dude, it could be a whole just light show, essentially. It's its own light show. You could project whatever background you would want on that to fit the music. And it's its own experience. It's its own emotional ride. I feel like if I was sitting there, I would be just... You add music to all of that, and it's this whole emotional experience. That might be one of the coolest music venues of all time. Just the concept of it. And I can't believe I didn't think that there was an inside of this building. Of course there would be. My brain thought it was just this outside thing that they just made for Vegas. Well, no, of course not. They're going to utilize the inside. And I don't think they had actually... I think they had built it. Everybody saw the outside, and then finally they started having shows there. It took a while for them to actually get shows in there. And the pictures, the images from the inside are breathtaking. It's unreal. It would be absolutely awesome to see a show there, especially depending on who the artist is that's playing there. But that's something I have to check out, because it's just so unreal to picture that. So that was one thing that was I just keep seeing images of, and it's just speaking of shows, and the fact that we're having a show this weekend made me think of that. The fact that that's a great new venue for music. And could you imagine like a techno show there where it's just like, God, you'd almost have like a freaking overload of a sensory overload in a place like that. I'm sure there's going to be people having seizures and shit like that just because, or people falling out of their seats because of like just the vastness that it looks like. And then you step outside and you're in Vegas. Like, what a trip. What an absolute trip that would be. So just the other day, I'm showing my age here, okay? I'm showing that I'm over 30 now. And I've been this way, but it's starting to sink in. It's become very apparent to me that I am I don't want to say a homebody because I'm really not. I like to go out a lot. But I've noticed I've been just going to my usual spots. I'm very much I want to be in a comfort zone. So I'll go to the Crystal, I'll go to Hooligans, and very rarely will I step outside of those boundaries. There's a few other spots, but they're also what I would consider to be comfort zones. I have become a comfort zone person. I don't really like to step out of that when it comes to social interaction. Let's say that. Because, of course, I will play shows at different venues, and I have no problem with that. I will go to... What the hell? God. My phone thinks I'm talking to it. I didn't say anything, did I? Did I say anything that would have made my phone think I was talking to it? They're always listening. Phones are always listening. Technology is always listening. Everything you say is being recorded. Terrifying. That's why I stay in my comfort zone. Because I'm terrified of the world. No, like, I'll go to other places. I'll go check out different cities and different venues, and I have no problem doing that. But on my day-to-day basis, I very much notice that I like to stick in my comfort zone. I don't like a lot of social interaction that I'm not familiar with. And the reason I bring this up is because I had to make a trip to everybody's least favorite store, Walmart. I have a history with Walmart. I've made it very public on this platform how much I absolutely disdain Walmart. And I kid you not, the second I walked in there, the first thing I said to myself was, I fucking hate this place. And I just kept saying it as I'm walking. I'm like, God, I hate this place. This place absolutely sucks. Now, why did I go to Walmart? Because unfortunately, as much as I hate Walmart, it is in fact, like, reliable. It's reliable. You can rely on the prices. You can rely on being able to find what you're looking for. That's my biggest gripe with Target. Does Target have baddies walking around all over the place? Absolutely. Their prices are a lot more expensive. They are a lot more convenient to get in and out of, I will say. But Target never has what I'm looking for. And their selection is so minuscule compared to Walmart. So therefore, I would rather not waste my time and I would rather bite my tongue, go to Walmart, and know that I'm going to get what I'm looking for. Rather than waste my time, go to Target, park, get inside, not find what I'm looking for, or the thing I'm looking for is astronomically more expensive. And I've said in the past, I would rather pay more than go to Walmart. Sometimes I stand by that statement, and sometimes I don't. Time is also worth something. So that begs noting. If I know that something is at a different store and it's more expensive, if I know that it's there, yes, I will go there and I will buy it. If it's a crapshoot, I'd rather just go to Walmart because I know it's going to be there. I had to go there to get, I needed to get some more socks, more underwear, and I needed to get a few things for my Halloween costume. So I go there. Now, another thing I want to say is as I'm going there, I see the Chick-fil-A sign. And I'm like, it's been a few months, since the big Chick-fil-A boom in Billings. Maybe I'll actually, when I'm done at Walmart, maybe I'll actually swing by Chick-fil-A and grab a bite because I have yet to try Chick-fil-A here. I've only had it one other time, very underwhelming. But hey, I'm willing to give it a second shot. So I'm thinking, yeah, when I'm done with Walmart, I'll swing by Chick-fil-A, grab some food, head home, and eat, and call it a night. How many months has it been since Chick-fil-A opened? 4, 5, 6 months? The lines are still incredibly stupidly long. They have 2 lines, and they're still backed up to the end of the block. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? How have I not been able, because again, time is something I value. I don't want to waste my time sitting in a line, standing in a line, looking for things that may or may not be there. So I'm not going to waste my time standing there or sitting there waiting to get through the line at Chick-fil-A that probably is going to be underwhelming. Where I could go to Wendy's and have an equally good chicken sandwich. So I didn't. So that was one thing. Then I step into Walmart, I get my few things, my few items, and I leave. I come home, one of the items I got, because I was there, and if you're going to go there, you might as well just get all the things that you need. And this is the first time I've been to Walmart, probably since, no joke, Christmas. Since last Christmas. The only reason I go to Walmart for Christmas is because, and I don't do no Christmas shopping there. I get like lights and Christmas decorations and things like that because they actually do have a pretty decent selection of it. And you only have to use the garden section, which is easy access, quick in and out. Don't have to fuck around. Don't have to deal with the rest of the store, okay? That's why I go to Walmart during Christmas. And I believe that was the last time I was there. I don't really like to go out and shop anymore. I used to love it. I really did. I don't know what it was about me. I think I kind of liked the madness of it. I liked the chaos. I liked just kind of browsing and looking at things and seeing, oh, maybe I'd like this. Just kind of window shopping and seeing something that you may or may not like and being like, let me just throw that in the cart. I'm not like that anymore. I don't like the chaos. I want to get in and out as quick as possible. Now, like I said, being at Walmart, having the large selection of randomly different things you can get there, I wanted to get all the things that I've been needing for the last couple months and just get that out of the way. So I'm bouncing around, grabbing my stuff. One of the things I've been wanting to get, that I've been needing to get for years, but just decided it wasn't worth wasting my time to get, was a belt. I have a belt. The same belt that I've had since high school. I have the exact same belt that I've had since high school. Why would I change it? It's never failed me. It's still a great functioning belt. It is a little worn out, and I thought maybe it'd be time to upgrade the belt. Sure. And I'll just use my other belt as my work belt, because my work belt broke. And now I've been having to swap back and forth, and that is infuriating. To have to just swap my belt back and forth between my jeans and my work pants, week to week. Or day to day, I should say. And so I was like, let me just get a new belt. So I got myself a new belt, come home. Now currently, I'm a size 30, comfortably 33 waist. So they have them all listed on the sizing for the tag where they're hanging up. So I was like, and they don't have 33, so I grabbed a 34. I have gained a little weight, so we'll give ourselves a little slack on the 34. So I go to try on my new belt. It doesn't fit. Well, what the fuck's going on here? It says 34. I'm a 34 waist. Why is this not fitting me? Turns out, when it comes to belt shopping, you have to buy the size ahead of what you are. If you're a 34 waist, you need to buy a 36. What? Why the fuck would they do that? That doesn't make any sense. And it's on a little tag on the back of the belt. It doesn't say anywhere visibly that that's what you need to do. Unless you were really looking for that. Or unless you're like a belt connoisseur that would already just know that. This frustrates me to no end. Because now, I have to go back to Walmart. But beyond that, let's get back to the real matter at hand. Belt companies. What the fuck are you doing? Why, if I'm a 34 waist, would you... It even says on the thing, if you're a 32, buy a 34. If you're 34, buy a 36. Or, here's a thought for you. Just make the belt bigger. Make the 34 belt match the 34 waist. How the fuck does this not make sense? Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you just make, hey, you see the belt that's the 36 belt that I'm supposed to get for my 34 waist? Put 34 on that belt. Make the belt that's supposed to fit the 34 say 34. Like, absolutely makes no fucking sense why you would do that. And hell, I went a step ahead. I got myself a 38 because I'm like, this motherfucker's definitely fitting me. I don't even care if there's extra belt. You made all those extra belt loops. I'll just get the 38. God knows if I grow any bigger, then it'll still fit me. It just absolutely stuns me beyond belief. And yeah, maybe you should just get a belt bigger for you anyway. How hard would it be just to like make the sizing the correct sizing? It's so illogical to me that it makes my brain want to absolutely explode. Because it's so nonsensical to do that. So of course, I had to waltz my unhappy ass, back to Walmart to exchange it for the correct belt. And like I said, I got 2 sizes bigger because fuck them. That's why. Hell, I'll cut half that belt off if I want to. So stupid. But in that, there were a couple other items that I decided I'd just pick up on my second round to Walmart. And a few food items, so I'm walking up and down the aisles. Now, when it comes to grocery stores, when it comes to the grocery section, there is only one aisle that I absolutely, since being a little kid, have treasured going up and down. Because of the absolute phenomenal selection, and every single one of them, for the most part, 90%, are amazing. And it's always a joy to just pick out the box of the month. And that, of course, is the cereal aisle. The cereal aisle is, by and far, as a child, as an adult, one of the happiest pleasures in my life. And I wonder if it does just come from a place of being a child. You know what I'm saying? If it just comes from like that, there's all the colors, you see the different boxes, the different mascots, and you're just like, and you know what you're getting. You know, you grab that box of Trix, you grab that box of Frosted Flakes, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, you know you're in for a good time. No matter what, you could grab any single one of them. Frosted Mini Wheats, that used to be one of my favorites. It's one of the most boring ass cereals. I still love them. It don't matter. Now, again, showing my age, I have become accustomed to getting something more closely to Life cereal, or just bland oatmeal, or Honey Bunches of Oats, Cheerios. Honey Nut Cheerios are probably my what I would consider nowadays to be my guilty pleasure cereal. Even though I still absolutely love Cocoa Pebbles, Fruity Pebbles, things of that nature. Of course. Can't go wrong. I actually had the idea, and I think this isn't my own idea, I think I've seen this somewhere. A cereal bar. Now, the concept is greater than the reality of it, because I don't know that it would actually be successful. But if you had a bar with giant tubes, like you know how they have the candy tubes? If you had those filled with different kinds of cereal, and then you had different selections of milk that you could have, you know, you obviously have like your whole milk, 2%, 1%, chocolate milk, skim milk, almond milk, oat milk, whatever everybody's preferences. You get to choose your milk, you get to choose your cereal, and you price it out accordingly. And you can have different size bowls. And all you show on the TVs are cartoons. You just show Sunday morning cartoons. How fucking incredible of an idea is that? Profitable? I don't know. Like, realistic? Probably not. You'd probably have to have it be like a breakfast place. You could have cereal and then also do other breakfast. That might be the way you have your niche, and the breakfast would have to be like phenomenal. You'd have to be notorious for being one of the best breakfasts in town type of place. So maybe in that sense it could work. A cereal bar. I think that would be awesome, actually. And yeah, I mean, they have like, you could literally just call it the cereal bar and have it be like a fucking Nutri-Grain bar would be like your logo. I don't know. It's an idea. I thought it was a good one. Anyway, back to the cereal. I still do from time to time get myself a sweet cereal because it's just so nostalgic. And I honestly, like I said, in most cases, in most food items or most beverages or whatever, I can probably pick out my most favorite. When it comes to cereal, it's month to month. Changes all the time. I'm never really stuck on one. They're all good in their own right. And the other thing I want to say, growing up poor, we always bought the Malto Meal giant bags of cereal that were the knockoff brand of whatever cereal. And for the most part, they're close enough, and there really isn't a huge difference, but there is a difference. And I think I convinced myself in my poor life that in my time of being poor that they really were just as good. Price wise, can't beat it. You know, you're getting way more bang for your buck when you're getting those big Malto Meal bags. And I would never buy one of those because it would never go away. It would last forever. Buying those smaller boxes for the amount of price you're paying for them, not necessarily worth it in my mind. It seems a little exorbitant, the amount that you pay for a small box of cereal these days. But I tried like legit Frosted Flakes, and I'm like, dude, these are way better than like whatever Malto Meal's Frosted Flakes version is. Same with Frosted Mini Wheats. Same with fucking chocolate. The Honey Smacks version, way better. All of them are better, and it's obviously because they're mass produced and they're like made formulaic to be the best version of that cereal. That's why they're the GOAT of those cereal brands, of that specific type of cereal. But as I'm walking through the cereal aisle in godforsaken Walmart, I started thinking to myself, if you took all the mascots, just all the cereal mascots, and you put them in a battle royale, and it was a fight to the death, which mascot comes out on top? And this is a discussion worth having. So let's think about this, okay? Let's look up a list of all the mainstream cereal mascots and who would come out on top, okay? So right off the bat, we have Captain Crunch. Okay, Captain Crunch cereal, amazing, by the way. Now, Captain Crunch, he's the captain of a ship, right? You would imagine he'd be able to fire cannons and do things like that. But him alone, now, I'm not thinking about, like, the most realistic version of these characters. I'm thinking about these characters as they are, okay? Captain Crunch is an old man. I don't know that he'd be able to handle his own against most of these characters, okay? So, I think Captain Crunch, while he might withstand a chance against some of them, I don't think he makes it to the end. Toucan Sam, done. Like, let's just eliminate the ones that are clearly out, okay? Toucan Sam, done. He's a bird. He has no threat to anything. The Honey Smacks Frog, I think he's done. I don't think he has anything to put into this. You could add the bear. Isn't he a Honey Smacks thing too, or is that a different cereal? He's got like a fucking Mr. Rogers sweater. Like the bear is clearly a pussy. He wouldn't stand a chance in any of it. Let's go ahead and throw the Cheerios, the Honey Nut Cheerios bee in there. He's a bee. You smash him, he's done. He's no threat to anything. Now we're on to tier 2. Okay, the tier 2 of cereal mascots, I would say, is like the Trix Rabbit. So the Trix Rabbit and the Cocoa Puffs bird are probably in the same camp because the Cocoa Puffs bird, I believe to be a bigger bird. I don't think he's a small bird like Toucan Sam. I don't know. He looks kind of like a vulture. But the reason I put these two in the same category is these guys are fucking batshit crazy. And you don't know what to expect from these guys. The fact that they are a rabbit and a bird is the only reason why they're mid-tier, because I don't think that they could be much of a physical threat. But the fact that they're nuts in the brain tells me that they could potentially be a problem in this battle royale. And you know what? We're going to add the Cookie Crisp wolf. And the wolf would have the edge here because he is, in fact, a wolf. He might even be a tier above. Oh, the corn puff or the corn flakes rooster, tier 1. He's fucking dead immediately. I will add in tier 3 the Rice Krispie elves. Yes, they are elves. They're smaller, probably less physically threatening, but there are, in fact, 3 of them. And you have to pair them as a trio. So that adds an element of surprise extra that could potentially be a problem. Other than that on this list, I think that's pretty much... Oh, and I guess in tier 3 or in tier 2, we might as well add the Quaker Oats. Quaker? Could you imagine him out there just... I don't even know what a Quaker acts like. You know? Like, this old man, this feeble old man. I would have to think that he... God, I mean, I did put Captain Crunch in tier 1, so I think I'd have to move Captain Crunch and the Quaker Oats guy into tier 2. Captain Crunch goes in tier 2, the Quaker Oats guy goes in tier 1. Because he's an older guy, but he's also like a religious fanatic, and I don't think that he makes it through. Quaker, yeah. So now we move on to tier 1. And tier 1 is clearly the front runners here. These are the ones that are going to probably come out winning the whole competition. And I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anybody here before I move on to tier 1. Tier 1 would have to go to, and as I said, I'll probably add the Cookie Crisp wolf just because he is a wolf and he's kind of nutso. Tony the Tiger. I mean, here's the thing about Tony the Tiger. Not only is he in fact a tiger, which is, he's a predatory cat. Not only a predatory cat, the most vicious and strongest. And you heard me correctly. A tiger is more vicious and powerful than a adult male lion. That's not me saying that. That is nature saying that. Not only is he a tiger, he's absolutely fucking jacked. He's got those tiny little legs, but the guy is built like Johnny Bravo. He's yoked. He carries a baseball bat around. This guy is an immediate problem in this battle royale. But you have to give a nod to Count Chocula and Frankenberry. I'm not including Booberry because he's a ghost. I'm leaving out Possession as a possibility here. I don't know that Booberry is capable of that, and I don't think he's capable of making any physical threat because he is in fact a ghost. So he goes immediately into tier 3. But Count Chocula and Frankenberry have a lot to say here. They're still monsters. They're goofy monsters at that. So that does put them down a tier from being like real Frankenstein and real Dracula. Nonetheless, you have to imagine that they do have supernatural powers. They do have supernatural strength, being it that they are a vampire and a Frankenstein. However, after much consideration, looking through this and really giving it some thought, this could be controversial. But I think ultimately, out of every cereal mascot, if you put them in a death match, a tournament, a fight to the death, the one that's going to come out on top, if having to break their comical characters and their whimsy and all that, and having to be serious and actually fight to the death, I think number 1 that comes out on top is the Lucky Charms leprechaun. Because, hear me out, because he's the only one of all these mascots that we know has magical powers. He physically performs magical powers in his commercials. He has the power to use all the clovers and use them to his advantage. So for that reason and that reason alone, I think he comes out on top. He would be crowned the ultimate serial killer. And I know that sounds controversial because he's a leprechaun, but it all comes down to the fact that he is the only one that can actually use magic. Now, you could say Count Chocula is probably immortal because of the fact that he's a vampire. You can't tell me that... Oh, sorry. I just heard a weird noise. Be aware of your surroundings. You can't tell me if, given the chance, if he had to fight for his life, Lucky isn't turning that horseshoe into a metal stake and driving it through Dracula's heart. Oh no, that's silver. Silver would be for a werewolf, huh? So it'd have to be a wooden stake. Well, doesn't he have a sun? Isn't the sun one of his lucky charms? Am I crazy here? He could just use the power of the sun and make him... Yeah, there's a moon and a sun, right? He'd use the power of the sun to kill Count Chocula. He's magical. They're magically delicious. And he's magically vicious if given the opportunity. So there we go. We're crowning the leprechaun. And that's not... And I swear to God, that is not me being a biased Irish person. If you give it a lot... If you truly think about it, if you really break it down, and you use my logic here, the leprechaun elf, or the leprechaun elf, the Lucky Charms leprechaun comes out on top in the ultimate cereal battle royale. And if you disagree with me, write me a comment. Let me know who you think would come out on top. Maybe I missed one. Maybe I'm off kilt. Maybe there's one out there. I guess I forgot to mention Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble for the... I mean, they'd have to go in tier 2. They're human. I don't think they beat Tony the Tiger. I don't think they beat Count Chocula. They definitely don't beat Lucky. Telling you, man. No, nothing beats Lucky. If you find one, let me know. I guess no. It's Lucky. Lucky is the ultimate serial killer in the ranks of all of them. He's the most powerful. What a topic, what a rant that I never thought I'd have. But you know what? That's what you do on days that you don't really have anything prepared. And honestly, might have been one of the funnest rants and one of the funnest little games we've played here on the podcast. So there you have it. Sometimes you make a gem out of nothing. You find a lump of coal and you get a little bit of pressure that you get put on because you weren't prepared, and you turn it into a diamond. They're magically delicious. I do have to give a shout out to my mom real quick. I should have done this last week, but of course we had the bit where I was being a basic white bitch, and I didn't find it to be appropriate time to do that. I do have to congratulate my mom on she graduated from drug court. We went down there and celebrated her graduation with her, which was awesome. Very proud of her for going through all of this, and she went through her drug tests. She'd made all of her appointments. She showed up when she needed to. It was like an 18-month ordeal, and she did it the right way. Excuse me. She crossed all her T's, dotted all her I's. Everything that they said about her at the graduation thing was very nice to hear. It was very cool. Still, it was weird for me to be there, and here's why. I was very happy to be there for her. The reason I say that, and I think we kind of covered this a little bit in the last episode I had with her, I wasn't aware of the fact that she was still dealing with these issues. Because for the last 15 years that she's been out of prison, I thought she was doing well. I thought she was not really on that track again. I knew she had a relapse, but I thought it was a minor relapse. I didn't know that it was a really hard problem. So it's still kind of hard for me to, in that moment and through this process, it's been very hard for me to make that realization that, I'm sitting in that courtroom and I'm thinking, this is so, like, it seems so over dramatic. It seems so overblown that we have to be here for this, because I didn't think she had that big of a problem. But after hearing everything, after like really letting it all sink in, it became more obvious and more the reality of the matter came more to light, that it has been more of a problem than I realized, or maybe that I wanted to realize. So, nonetheless, I just wanted to say congratulations to my mom for making this achievement, for doing this and sticking with it, and hopefully staying on the straight and narrow from here on out. So just wanted to shout her out. She's been a frequent guest on the show. We're definitely going to have her back on eventually and we'll talk more about that, but that was a recent development, and I just wanted to give her a shout out. Honestly, that was the first time I've ever been in a real life courtroom. Ever. In my 30 years of life on this earth, I've never been in a real courtroom. I didn't even know where the actual courtrooms were in Billings. But it might not be my last here soon, because your boy just got summoned to jury duty, which really sucks. I mean, it was only a matter of time, and that's, I suppose, what I get for voting and being a responsible American. But yes, I did get summoned to jury duty. In a way, I'm kind of excited, because it'd be kind of cool to be a part of that experience and like kind of see it from that perspective. At the same time, oh God, is it going to be boring having to sit and listen to testimony and really like pay attention. I'm sure you're not allowed to have phones in there, so I'm just gonna be sitting there absolutely bored out of my fucking gourd. I'm praying that whatever this is gets dismissed, or they settle out of court, because or even if it's just something that we can get done in a day, if it's something that doesn't have to drag out for multiple days. God, what if I got assigned to like this high profile like murder case and I had to be there for like weeks at a time? Dude, I would absolutely fucking go insane. So here's hoping that it's a quick trial, and that, or maybe chances are I'll be related to the person that's being tried, and so I'll have to remove myself because of conflict of interest. So chances are that's going to already be the case, so I'll probably get out of it. I plan on showing up. I am a law-abiding citizen. Isn't that crazy that you can be like in contempt of court if you don't show up for jury duty? Like, you can get in trouble if you just decide you don't want to do it. That's crazy to me. Like, I understand like it's your civil duty to do that, but if I'm supposedly a free American, and if I'm just like, I don't really feel like doing that, why should I not be able to say that? Because I suppose everybody would. That's why. Let's get I want to get kind of serious here for a moment. I want to like get kind of real with you just for a quick moment, because you know me, I like to be open and honest and share my feelings and the things that I'm going through, in hopes that it will somehow help you, and maybe it'll be relatable to you. And even if it doesn't help you out now, maybe it's something that you can hear and use later on in life when you're dealing with similar things that I may or may not be dealing with. And so that's why I just want to preface with that, because that's why I like to be kind of personal sometimes and talk about things that I'm going through. Because this is a positive, like the point of this podcast is to promote positivity and to promote motivation and things like that. And so if I can share something from my life, struggles and things like that, hopefully it can resonate with you and help you out in any circumstance that you may be going through. And the thing I'm talking about here is just lately, the last couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks here, I have really felt an overwhelming feeling of, I guess, lack of motivation and productivity. I have just felt very, I guess the word I could just use for my general life is underwhelmed. I'm feeling very underwhelmed by life. Therefore, giving me very little motivation to be productive, essentially. It's kind of just one and the same. I don't have the motivation to be productive in my life currently. This is just a new revelation. And usually what this is a symptom of for me in the past has been depression. It's usually a sign, that depression is creeping in. This is not one of those occasions. I do not in the least bit feel depressed. I am not saddened by the world. I'm not I don't have this overwhelming sense of dread. None of that is going on. Which is why I found it so confusing. It's why I was like, why am I just stricken by this lack of motivation? There's nothing going on that should make me feel unmotivated. I've had one of the absolute best years of my life. And so having thought about that, having looked inwardly and tried to realize, why am I feeling this way? What is making me feel this way? I came to the conclusion that it's because I've had such a rocket ship of a year, right? I literally just got off 2 straight months where I had, first I went to Ireland, right? We had the Ireland trip. Even before that, we had I got to see my team win the NBA championship game. Then we had my birthday, and then it was Ireland. I before that I had a couple trips to Denver. It was a lot of go. Then we came back from Ireland, had a few shows. We released our album. I promoted the album. It's just kind of been a very consistent go. And there was always something to be motivated by. And there was always something to push and something to get excited about and to be on top of the world about. And now life's kind of just getting back to normal. Everything kind of just has settled down. Nothing bad's happening, but nothing overwhelmingly exciting is happening either. So I think that drop, that sudden drop in all this excitement, all this good stuff going on, now that it's kind of settled back to just an even plane, kind of a normal, I think it's just kind of brought my mental down a little bit. And it's made me kind of just feel blah in a way. And it's stricken my motivation. Because I was on such a high, and now we're just kind of back to normal. And I think because of that, it just brought me down. It just brought me down a little bit. Like I said, I'm not depressed. I'm not sad. I'm not anything. I just feel, and at the same time, maybe my body is just telling me, just chill. You don't have to be go. You just experienced a lot of dopamine rush. You just had a lot of really awesome experiences. You just were on cloud 9 for a long time, and now it's time to just settle down, relax, and just chill for a little while. It could be that. It could be my body telling me that, and my mind trying to just give me some rest. As far as the it does bum me out in a way sometimes, because I feel like I could be doing more sometimes, even though when I look at it, I feel like I am doing a lot. I have been still doing the things I need to do, but I'm almost kind of doing the bare minimum, is what it feels like. There's things that I need to get done, or not necessarily need to get done, but things I want to get done that I'm procrastinating on, or I'm just like letting go. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna like chill today. I'm just gonna call this a chill day. When in reality, I could be doing more productive things, and yet I'm not, and that bums me out to an extent. It makes me like feel like I'm just kind of wasting my time, which I already mentioned. Time is of the essence. Time is very valuable. I don't like to waste time. And so therefore, because I am wasting time, it kind of bums me out. Sometimes even like the last couple weeks, I'm just like, am I wasting my time watching football? And I already mentioned that no, I'm not. And I stand by that statement because I'm doing something I enjoy. I truly do enjoy being a fan and watching football. So I don't see that as a waste of time for me. But the reason I thought that, and the reason I started putting that in my head is like, I'm not using my other days productively. So when I'm just wasting a day watching football, again, not a waste, but when I'm thinking this way, of course, I'm going to put that out there. No, I should be more productive on the other days. And I'm just not. Like even today, I had very little motivation to even do the podcast. And now that have gone through it, and now that we've done it, and we're almost to the end, I'm glad I did. You know what I mean? Like I'm. It's not that I wasn't going to. It's that it just was like, okay, let's go and do this. Like we got to do this. Come on, you got this. Like get up and do it. And it was a struggle. And like I said, I think most likely, it's because there's currently not a whole lot going on in my life that matches the high intensity, the high adrenaline, the high stakes, all that stuff that I had previously done the last 2 months. Or even the last 3 months. September was a chill month. September was a relatively chill month for us, or for me. And so now that we're in the month of October, it's kind of, I'm in that lull. And I believe like as we get into the holiday season, it'll start getting back up and I'll start, I know I'm going to get back on track. But ultimately, the whole point of me saying any of this and talking about this is I was mindful of why I was feeling the way I was feeling. I looked inward. I thought about it. And because I did that, I'm able to accept the reason why I feel the way I do. And therefore I'm able to change the course of how I'm feeling. I can realize the reason I feel the way I do, and I can start slowly getting back to just feeling better, just being okay with it, and not feeling like like I'm wasting time or like I'm, if I can accept it, especially for the fact that it's not a depressive thing, that it's just normal. Like I'm just coming down off of a high run of dopamine and excitement and craziness and just busy. Now that I can accept that as the reality, I can get back to just a normal vibe. And so that's the message today. That was the whole message in the beginning of this. Be mindful of your emotions. Be mindful of the way you're feeling. Think about it. Look inward. Realize, why is it that I'm feeling this way? Because now you have the ability to change the course. You have the ability to move past it and counter-correct it. Or even just coming to an understanding of why you're feeling that way will give you comfort, and it'll give you closure and all that. You'll feel a bigger sense of comfort in having realized and come to the conclusion as to why it is you're feeling a certain way. So that's the whole point. I wanted to bring this up. I wanted to share that with you. Be very mindful. If you're feeling a certain way and it's a way that you don't feel is normal, or it's a way that you don't want to feel, really think about it. Sit down and really give it some thought as to why it is you might be feeling those ways. And if you can come to that conclusion. I mean, if you need to ask other people and get some light shed onto why, if they have possibilities as to why you're feeling that way, hey, they might open your eyes to something that you weren't aware of. And so it's just good to be mindful. It's good to be aware. And yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I don't think people think or talk about that very much. You do have more power over your mind and body than you probably think. You know, everybody kind of thinks everything's by circumstance, or sometimes people might think that you have no control over the way you feel. Yeah, you kind of do. You can change the way you feel by reflecting on those feelings and by looking into them and coming to realizations as to why you're feeling those ways. It'll give you clarity. And clarity changes your outcome. It changes your outlook, which changes your mood, changes your feeling. So that was my whole thing. That was the whole reason I wanted to even bring that up. So there's that. Yeah, just something to think about. We do have a little bit of time left here, and I might as well spend it talking some football because we're still in the middle of football season, and it's always a good time killer because I could talk about it all day. Broncos finally got their first win of the season by barely beating the Bears. I told you last week you might have seen a naked Dakota sitting here if we had lost. But thankfully we didn't. Came down to the wire. We had to make a 21-point comeback in the fourth quarter to beat the worst team in the NFL. And the Bears ended up winning the other night against the Commanders. Did not see that coming. So maybe the Bears are better than we thought, which means the Broncos are better than we thought, right? That's the logic you would think. And the Commanders, we lost to the Commanders, and the Bears beat the Commanders. We beat the Bears. Seems logical. All those were very close games, by the way. But yeah, so Broncos finally got their win. We play the Jets this week. Or we will have already played the Jets. Hopefully we come out on top of that. Here's my prediction as far as that goes. It's going to be a tough game. The only way the Broncos are really going to win is we got to beat their defense. Our offense has to be better than their defense because our defense stinks. It still stinks, and their offense is kind of meh. If they play as good as they did last week against our defense, we're in trouble. We got to shut down Breece Hall. We cannot let them get their run game going. I don't trust Zach Wilson enough to win the game. Our defense stinks donkey dick. We gotta shut down the run game. Our defense just needs to step up. If our offense can outplay their defense because their defense is really good, that's where we're gonna win the game. It's gonna be won on that side of the field. And then you have the whole thing with Hackett and Sean Payton. So I would love to get the win against Hackett. I don't want him to get the last laugh. And this is one of those games that we kind of just need the motivation, or we need the momentum going into Thursday night against Kansas City. So we got to win this one. This is a big game. Big game. Otherwise, let's see. The Bills beat the brakes off the Dolphins, who just whipped our ass a week previous to that. So crazy how week to week can go. Jonathan Taylor's back. That's pretty huge. He just signed a contract extension. I don't really have too many thoughts about that, I guess. I guess it's kind of crazy that you can request to leave your job, sit out, and then get a raise. That's kind of interesting. I wish that happened in real life. I wish I could just be like, I don't really feel like working here anymore. Like I think I'm going to go somewhere else, and then being like, no, like we don't want you to go anywhere. And then being like, well, you know what? I'm just not going to show up for work for like 4 weeks, and then go back to work, and they're like, you know what? Here's way more money. That would be awesome. Unfortunately, that's not how life really works. And Cooper Kupp's back from injury. I'm crushing in my fantasy football leagues. I'm getting crushed in one of my leagues. The Michaela, who was on the podcast earlier this year, she's whipping my ass. with one player. She had DJ Moore, who had 220 some yards and 3 touchdowns. The guy's almost got 50 points. Ugh. That absolutely crushed me. But if I can somehow come back and beat her, that'd be pretty cool. I don't see it happening this week, but otherwise, I think I'm 3-1 in all of my fantasy leagues. I might be 2-2 in one of my leagues, but I'm 3-1 in my other leagues. Yeah, I'm 2-2 in one of my leagues, and I'm 3-1 in the other 2. So far, doing pretty damn good. It's like I watch football or something like that. I'm trying to think of anything else big that's going on in football. Taylor Swift phenomena is still taking over. You know what? Here's my final thought on the Taylor Swift thing, okay? I've come to the conclusion that I believe this is all a work because there was a whole thing about Taylor Swift not doing the halftime show. She refused to do the Super Bowl halftime show, and I think this is all just a big ploy for her to finally announce that she's actually going to do the Super Bowl halftime show. That's my ultimate prediction. The whole Travis Kelce thing and her may or may not be true, but I think they're using all this as a giant campaign to announce that she will officially do the Super Bowl halftime show. That's just my prediction. I think it's all just a gimmick. And with that, we will close out today's episode. Thank you all so much for joining me this week. If you haven't yet, do me the favor, like, share, subscribe, follow Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts, it is available. Come check us out Friday, October 31st. Oh my God. My brain is all over the place. Friday, October 13th. Friday the 13th. Thirsty Street Brewing. Cutthroat and Mobsquito. Rocking the show. It's going to be a great time. Come in costume. Come hang out. Might be the last time you get to see us. Be mindful of your surroundings, both on Friday the 13th, because all the crazies are going to be out. It's like a full moon, right? And if it is a full moon on Friday the 13th, God help us all. But be mindful, and most importantly, be mindful of your emotions. Be mindful of your feelings. Really look into them. Think about them, and examine them. But most importantly, what you need to remember, always remember, that life's a garden. Dig it. You gotta keep on keeping on.
Life's a garden, dig it, you make it